throne. Now, I want to ask you, before even, I don't want to lose this point. I don't want to lose this point before we continue reading this verse that's going to give us light. This is my question. How many of them left Egypt on their way to the earthly Canaan? How many of them left Egypt on their way to the earthly Canaan? How many of the Israelites left? How many of them? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Felix. That's Exodus chapter 12. But that's not the number. That's not the number. Let's go there. Keep your finger here. Let's go there. That's not the number. Yes, that is what the Bible says, but if you use common sense, it has to be more. Come with me to Exodus 12. Exodus chapter 12. I want you to see Exodus, the 12th chapter, verse 37. It says, and the children, are we all there, friends? Exodus 12:37, because we're going to get finished quickly. Exodus chapter 12, verse 37, it says, and the children of Israel journeyed from, Ramas to Succoth. Watch this. About 600,000 on foot that were, what? Men, besides children, and obviously besides women as well. So I'm asking you, how many left? 600,000, that's not everyone. That's only men. So if there were 600,000 men, there should have been at least how many women? About 600. And if there were how many children do you think? Back then, one woman would have about 15, 16 children. I'm telling you, those women they would give birth. Now, that's over 2 million. Over 2 million left, but I'm not going with 2 million. I'm going to err on the side of mercy. I'm going to say there was only 600,000 in total, but that's not true. We know there was over 2 million. But let's err and say 600,000. Let's just say. So let's just say 600,000. Let's put 600,000, yeah? 600,000. I want to ask you a question. A simple question. From the 600,000, what's 1% of 600,000? 1%. 1% of 600,000. What's 1% of 6,000? What's 1%? 60. What's 1% of 60? So 1% of 600,000 would be what? 6,000. Now that's 1%. 1%. Let's put here 1%. Let's scratch even this out. 1%. A 6,000 of 600,000. Question: did 600,000 in total leave? No. But 1% of 600,000 is 6,000. Do you know from the original group of adults, not even 6,000 entered into the promised land? Not even 6. That would be 1%. If it was 6,000, would have been 1% entered. It was less than 1%. Only amongst that original crowd, only 2 entered in. Every one of them, their dead bodies fell in the wilderness. And by the way, inspiration says we are in greater danger. We are in far greater danger. What took them 40 years has taken us over 170 years. Now, come with me to Deuteronomy. Keep your finger here. Come with me to Numbers quickly. Numbers, I want you to see this in Numbers 26. Numbers chapter 26. I'm reading from verse 63. Numbers 26:63. It says in Numbers 26:63. It says, these are they that were numbered by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who numbered the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. Now watch verse 64. When Moses numbered the people just before they entered into the promised land, he numbers them. And then look at 64. But amongst these, there was not a man of them whom Moses and Aaron the priest numbered when they numbered the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord had said of them, they shall surely die in the wilderness, and there was not left a man of them, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. Out of that whole crowd that left amongst the adults, only 2 adults went into the promised land, Joshua and Caleb. Less than 1% made it through the crisis. Listen to this. Listen to this. Volume 1 of the Testimony, 6 or 8. She says, in the Lord's vision given me, I shown the startling fact that but a small portion of those who now profess the truth will be sanctified by it and be saved. Then she says, many will get above the simplicity of the work. They will conform to the world. Secondly, cherish idols and become spiritually dead. The humble self-sacrificing follower of Jesus will pass on to perfection, leaving behind the indifferent and the lovers of the world. I was pointed back to ancient Israel. But 2 of the adults of the vast army that left Egypt entered the land of Canaan. Their dead bodies were strewn in the wilderness because of their transgressions. Now listen to the last part. Modern Israel are in greater danger of forgetting God and being led into idolatry than was ancient people. Who's in greater danger? Us. Less than 1%. Then with us, less than, I don't know what's smaller than 1%. Not that God can't save us. Not that God's power is lacking. Not that there's any defect on God. It's because we are choosing sin over God. We are choosing idols over God. We are choosing to waste our time on all the foolishness instead of spending time with God. Friends, God is warning us we're in great danger. We are in great danger. Now let's go and see quickly. I want to close. Time is gone. I want to see there's so much to cover. But we try and get back to Putin and climate change and Sunday law. Come with me to 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Why did they fall in the wilderness? Yes, it was faith, lack of faith, but lack of faith produced sins. It says in verse 5 of 1 Corinthians 10, but many of them God was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Can you see why God recorded a history that we don't repeat their history? Verse 7, neither be ye idolaters. First thing God says they were idolaters. They had idols in their lives. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, they rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents. Friends, are you seeing why they fell? Idolatry. Bible says fornication, and then the Bible says murmuring, tempting Christ. That's why they fell. These are warnings to us, friends. Their journey stands as a beacon of warning. Beacon of warning. Look what the prophet says, not even the prophet. This is an angel speaking. It says, I saw that many who profess to believe the truth for these last days think it strange that the children of Israel murmured as they journeyed. That after the wonderful dealings of God with them, they should be so ungrateful as to forget what he had done for them. Now look at this, angel speaking. Said the angel, you, the church, us, have done worse than they. In God's eyes, God sees modern Israel in a worse condition than what ancient Israel. Friends, a great change needs to take place in our lives. We cannot continue living as we are and say we are preparing for heaven. Not possible. There needs to be a radical change in our lives. And even if it means we sacrifice, we're going to have to sacrifice. Even if it's going to be painful, we're going to have to do it. No matter what God, whatever we see in our lives that's not right, we're going to have to lay it aside. Someone says, but every time I wake up, I just have to grab that phone. Well, put the phone out in the lounge. Do something. We cannot continue living the way we are living. Cherishing the sins we are cherishing and saying we're going to heaven. No, friends. There must be a radical change.